We all know that Inter Milan's Mauro Icardi has the capacity to be one of the best strikers in the world, and his past few seasons with the Nerazzurri prove as much. But unfortunately, sitting at a few days past his 26th birthday, he's had a career's worth of scandals. Hey, I'm Adrian. You ready to take a little foray into the weird world of Mauro Icardi with a side dish of Wanda Nara? I mean, who is ready for that, really? But we're going to get right into it. To start, we have to go back to the 2011-12 season once Icardi's move to Sampdoria from Barcelona was made permanent. Icardi became close with fellow Argentinian Maxi Lopez, a player who at 8 years his senior and who has won titles with the likes of Barcelona. Naturally, he became a mentor and friend of Icardi, though Icardi has since downplayed their relationship a little bit. But it wasn't just Maxi who Mauro became close with, as he became close with Wanda Nara as well, Maxi's wife at the time, who he has 3 children with. Now, in talking about this controversy, we have to remember that ultimately the truth is only known by Mauro Icardi, Maxi Lopez, and Wanda Nara. Just something to keep in mind when talking about private matters like this. But I'll do my best to give you what's generally been accepted or fed to the public without my opinion attached to it. Well, my opinion may slip in there once in a while, but I'll be sure to differentiate it from the rest. So, Maxi and Wanda got married in 2008 and had 3 children. Mauro arrived at Sampdoria in 2011, but didn't start playing with the senior team until 2012. By November of 2013, you keeping up here? Each side of the relationship shooting allegations of infidelity at the other. Wanda claims that Maxi cheated on her frequently, once even while Wanda was at home in bed with the kids, while Maxi was with their housekeeper, Mariana, in another room of the house. Maxi, of course, alleges that Wanda cheated on him with Mauro Icardi. Icardi and Wanda, however, deny the claim, saying that they only got together once Maxi and Wanda were separated. But Icardi has added this, and I'm paraphrasing here. In the summer of 2013, Icardi had joined Inter and claims that Wanda texted him before he left for his pre-season tour of the United States, asking him to pick up an iPad for her while he was there. He wondered whether this was about the iPad or if she just wanted an excuse to talk to him because he typically only spoke to Maxi, not with Wanda directly through text. Once he got back to Italy, he linked up with Wanda again and she invited him on a boating trip through the Aeolian Islands, along with Gonzalo Borghesio and his wife, as well as, of course, her then husband Maxi Lopez. Icardi said that his understanding was that her relationship with Maxi was coming to an end at this time, so he saw no harm in speaking with her and getting closer with her. Now, here's where it gets a little murky and only the people involved know the real truth. Whatever the story may be, Nara and Maxi were separated in November of 2013, began the divorce process in December of 2013, and come May of 2014, Mauro Icardi and Wanda Nara were married. So, if they hadn't had an affair, that would mean that they had got together in November, December, and were married 5 to 6 months later. Just a couple of months after her divorce from Maxi Lopez was finalized. Make of that what you will, but Icardi didn't make the situation any easier by getting a tattoo of the names of Maxi's kids on his arm. You could see it as a pledge to raise these children as his own or a slap in the face of Maxi Lopez. So that was the first big case of immaturity that we saw from Icardi. Let's assume that Wanda and Icardi, what they say is the truth, and that they didn't in fact have an affair, despite there being plenty of reason to think so. Even if they didn't, the way he handled the situation afterwards, and this is my opinion here if you hadn't noticed yet, you know, by constantly publishing photos on social media of himself with Maxi's children, the tattoo he got, etc. He should have known that it would offend and cause a stir. In my opinion, huge lack of maturity. In fact, his love triangle is accepted as one of the reasons as to why Icardi was basically embargoed from playing for the Argentina national team, as some key members forbid him from getting a call-up. Maradona himself even called him a snake. Let's jump to 2015 when Icardi is captaining Inter and the next blotch on his reputation starts to appear. In his autobiography, Sempre Avanti, released in October of 2016, Icardi included a story about a clash he had with some of Inter's ultras. After Inter's 3-1 loss to Sassuolo on February 1st, 2015, Icardi had a heated exchange with some of the traveling Inter fans.
Il Mapei Stadium con le maglie consegnate, Green anche Icardi gliela restituisce in malo modo e
In his book, Icardi claimed that some of Inter's traveling supporters threatened to come to his house. Of course, threats like this can't be taken too lightly. We're not here to make light of that, if it did indeed happen, of course. But again, Icardi didn't handle himself very well in the aftermath and used his upcoming autobiography to lampoon that set of supporters. In a chapter that has since been removed from all updated versions of his book, Icardi claimed that he was seen as a hero by his teammates for standing up to the fans in the stands. Well, he went on to say, quote, "I'm ready to face them one by one. Maybe they don't know that I grew up in one of the South American neighborhoods with the highest rates of crime and people killed in the street. How many of them are there? 50? 100? 200? I will bring 100 criminals from Argentina who will kill them on the spot." In response, the Curva Nord, or the Inter Ultras, released a statement that rubbished Icardi's claims about the threat he received, going on to say, quote, "One concept must be clear to everyone. The Inter captain cannot make these kinds of remarks. An individual like this cannot wear the captain's armband." End quote. Icardi released a statement via Instagram shortly after, saying that he was sorry and that the true intention of the segment of his book wasn't to come off as threatening, but to portray how heated the atmosphere was on that day. Some of the Curva Nord didn't buy it, putting up banners stating, "Icardi, you're a bastard, making shit up to sell more copies." And of course another one read, "You're not a man, you're not a captain, you're just a cowardly piece of shit." Though they wanted punishment for Icardi, all they got was an official statement from the club condemning his actions, an official apology from Icardi for breaching the club's internal regulations, and he was also sanctioned. No stripping of the captaincy as the fans had hoped. Some of the fans, I should say. They say that time heals all, and if you can score boatloads of goals in the process, then that only helps to expedite the process, right? That's how the saying goes, I think. And that's exactly what he did over the next few seasons, and it did help with his general rapport, until recently, when the relationship between himself and the club reached an all-time low. Icardi has been in the process of renewing his contract for a good few months now, almost a year, never seeming to be able to come to an agreement, and rumors constantly circulating about a potential move to Real Madrid. However, his wife and agent, not sure if I mentioned that before, but Wanda Nara is also his agent, has been meeting with Inter regularly, though as of now they haven't come to an agreement on a new contract. In December of 2018, things started to take a turn for the worse. First of all, you have Wanda speaking quite frequently on TV as she's part of a weekly Calcio show, while she also supplements this constantly speaking to the media about whether or not they have signed a contract extension yet. Likely she uses that as a tool to sort of put the pressure on Inter to get a deal done ASAP in a sort of, "Hello, we want to make it happen, it's on you guys as to why this hasn't happened yet." Although another remark she made, which Inter wasn't too happy with, was when she said on Tiki Taka, the show she panels, quote, "More than giving Mauro a new contract, I'd like Inter to sign someone capable of giving him 5 good passes in each match." Then there was Icardi's Instagram post that rubbished stories about him rejecting deals because he wants to leave for Madrid. He also said, quote, "I will sign a new contract as soon as there will be a fair and solid offer from Inter." Some fans reacted poorly to that, claiming that no captain, let alone a player of a certain club, should publicly demand for a raise. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve a raise. The likes of Higuain and Dybala are making way more than him in the league, and he hasn't had a contract renewal for over 2 years now. And yes, I know that Higuain's at Chelsea now, but at the time, he wasn't. Hell, even Aaron Ramsey will allegedly be making far more than Icardi, but he shouldn't be saying these things publicly, and what makes it worse is when your wife/agent is making it impossible for the public to forget that they are yet to agree upon a new contract, because she's constantly talking about it, either to the media or on her Calcio show. Not the details of them, of course, but just the status. And despite Inter asking Icardi and Wanda to tone it down with the airing the dirty laundry, so to speak, Icardi hasn't stopped, nor has he asked his agent/wife to stop either, and the relationship between the three was and still is at an all-time low. Well, this all came to the fore on February 13th, 2019, when Inter stripped Icardi of the captaincy. Immediately, people jumped to the conclusion that this was a result of contract negotiations breaking down between Inter and the player, and why would he continue to be the captain if he was leaving at the end of the season anyway? But, as I said, that was the conclusion that was assumed, whereas one report from Gianluca Di Marzio claims that he was stripped of the captaincy simply due to the fact that Luciano Spalletti and the Inter board believed that he was neglecting his duties as a captain, what with his continued trying to be cryptic Instagram posts, his wife's constant blabbing in the media, etc. And so, they deemed that Samir Handanovic was a far more fitting captain for Inter. In the wake of being stripped of the captaincy, fans then noticed that Icardi wasn't part of Inter's squad for their Europa League clash with Rapid Vienna, while later on the official reason given was a knee injury. Shortly after the squad announcement, however, Luciano Spalletti told the media that Icardi was indeed called up for the match in Austria, but he withdrew from the squad of his own accord. The following weekend, with Inter facing Icardi's former team Sampdoria, Icardi was once again out of the squad, once again officially stated as a knee injury. After the match, Spalletti was asked about Icardi and the captaincy, and he had this to say, quote, "There are certain things surrounding the lad which need to be fixed. These things have caused and continue to cause embarrassment to the team and the club of which he was the captain." I think by now you can understand what exactly Spalletti is getting at. However, Inter CEO Beppe Marotta once again reiterated that, quote, "The decision to strip Icardi of the captaincy was not a disciplinary measure. Heads of families need to make difficult decisions sometimes when it comes to their children to help them grow. Icardi is only 25 years old. He's 26 now, by the way. So again, we're left with a situation where only the individuals involved know what the truth is, while we're just out here taking educated guesses at things. Spalletti pointed towards things surrounding Icardi being a problem. Well, Marotta liked to say that they did it for the good of him and it wasn't to punish him. And that's where things stand in this moment, and until there are further developments, we'll all just be out here making assumptions. One thing's for certain, it seems as though the situation has reached a boiling point of some sort, whether that means he and his wife's actions have been enough for a new contract or enough for Inter to finally cash in on the striker, I don't know. But the question of who would be willing to bring on someone that clearly is a great striker but brings tons of baggage along with him, hard to say. I mean, watch this space, I guess. And hey, you can do that by subscribing if you enjoyed this video and want to see some more from Rabona TV. Other than that, leave a like if you liked this video, a dislike if you didn't, and of course, your opinion in the comments section. I'm Adrian, this is Rabona TV, I said that already, and take care.